Up next, the USF Bulls. We're represented today by head coach Jose Fernandez, student athletes Eliza Pinzon and Elena Chineka. Coach, if you would, please make an opening statement.
Sure. Give a lot of credit to Miami and how well they played, how well they shot the ball. It's tough when you sit in here and you look at our guys in the locker room, because it's the last time they're going to be together, right? Coaching staff, players, especially with the type of year we had. We just struggled really defending today. And again, Miami made shots and they finished and they shot a really, really big number. I think at one point they were almost up to 70% from the floor. At the half, they were at 60. So, 3 quarters, I thought they were even, but those last 5 minutes of that first quarter hurt, and we just never had a chance to get it down. We got it down to 7 to 9, and just we couldn't whittle that lead down.
We'll open it up for questions for the student athletes at this time. Please raise your hand. Let's go in the middle there.
For Elena, you that first half was really, really, you looked like the best player on the court, and it wasn't close. But for you, just what changed between the first and the second half there? Was it their zone that kind of bothered you?
I feel like in the second halftime, they started more to collapse more, like on me, and then I could easily kick the ball out. We had more offensive opportunities, more scoring from the other guys as well in the second halftime, and I think that's better.
Jeffrey?
Did the pace of the game surprise you, especially from the start? It seemed like they came out and they just wanted to really run instead of maybe make this more of a slow kind of defensive kind of game.
Lisa, take that one, please.
We knew they were good in transition. We didn't do a really good job matching up, and they knocked down open threes on our mistakes, and that was it.
Elena?
I need to get the question again, if that's possible.
Did the pace of the first quarter surprise you, how quickly that Miami wanted to play in that first quarter?
Yeah, they were actually more athletic and faster than us, but for us it's not. When we stick together, that's not a problem. I just felt like they were just scoring more and they had better percentages, so it's not about that they were faster, but they were actually making the shots.
Other questions from the floor? Let's go back to second row.
Eliza, obviously, honored on senior night a few weeks ago, but it sounds like you do have that extra year of eligibility. I know, obviously, you wanted to put as much thought into the end of this season as possible, but what does a timeline look for you, as you make your decision whether or not you want to return for that extra year?
I mean, now I'm not thinking as much about it, just because I was thinking about the end of the season, and it ended today, and I would just take my time and think about it. Right now, I don't have an answer.
Anything else from the floor? We do have a question on Zoom. Francisco Rosa.
Hey, guys. So my question is, how frustrating was it, there in the second half as you guys are kind of like digging into the lead, and then they always had an answer. How frustrating is it for you as you guys keep on getting closer, but then they kept on having a response?
Eliza, why don't you take that first?
I mean, it was frustrating, especially because we were getting back, and then they were always making the little run, and we didn't have the opportunity to come back at like 6 points, 4 points. But they made a shot. They played really well today, and credit to them.
Elena?
I mean, it's the same kind of answer with Eliza. Credit to them again. They just shot the ball better. And it was frustrating because we had to come up with quick solutions. Every time we would have a good defense, they would have a good offense. And every time we had a good offense, they had a good defense. It's just how it is. It's basketball.
All right. We'll let the student athletes go.
Thank you.
And we'll open up for questions for Coach Fernandez. Second row there.
Obviously, when you came into this year, you guys had extremely high expectations, just on what you guys were bringing back. Just as this year comes to an end, just kind of what's your, main takeaways and thoughts.
Yeah, you return 5 starters and you added a couple transfers. And sometimes, every team's different, and every team's dynamic is different. Every team's chemistry is different. So you go through things during the year. We went through a lot of things, behind the scenes, that we had a lot of guys that had a very difficult year with some of the things that they went through. From outside looking in, people say, well, they were a disappointing season. They returned everybody. Had a win, had a win over Stanford, had a win over Oregon, played a really good schedule. Didn't win the conference, didn't repeat as conference champions, but people don't really understand what goes behind the scenes and what some of these kids have been through, emotionally, physically, mentally. So it's definitely not where we wanted to finish, but we got to regroup, and we'll get some time off. We'll have end of the year meetings. We'll figure out who's coming back, who's not, and we'll be back here next year.
And then just, on the game, Elena has such a great first half. Eliza comes and plays strong in the second. Their zone obviously, was able to create some other opportunities for y'all, especially down low. Between that second half, it just every time you seem to get out on a run, you guys just weren't able to, get that stop on the defensive end.
Yeah, we shot 41% from the floor and 41 from 3. Well, usually when we do that, and 81 from the line. Usually when we do that, we're on the positive side of things. I think the game, it was even rebounding-wise, right? 30 to 30 edge. We had double their offensive rebounds, but came down to us not being able to keep them in front of us. And again, Miami made shots. They played very well. And, I don't think we lost. We got beat. Miami was a better team on the floor tonight. That's what basketball is. That's what sports is. But, we got it. This bunch has a lot to be proud of. They won 24 games. It's very difficult to make the NCAA tournament, right? There's 300 teams that didn't make the NCAA tournament, or whatever, 290 of them. So you regroup and go back to work.
Let's go to the front row.
Seemed like whenever Miami would have one player that would get hot, you guys would focus on them and then have another one. They ended up, I think it was 5 players in double digits. I guess, what was that like in just trying to make those adjustments to finding that hot person?
You're absolutely right. Every time, if we stop Marshall and Erzsébet, then, one of their big hits scored. We had it down. We hit a 3. I think we cut it down to 7, and then they come down and we rotate, and one of their post players steps out. We don't rotate and hits a 3 from the top. That was huge. Again, look at the bench. It was 29-8. They were a lot deeper. That's something where we need to get better at in the offseason, and we will.
Other questions from the floor? Anybody? We do have one on Zoom. I guess we got a couple on Zoom. Francisco, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Kind of wanted to ask, outside of L there in the first half, you guys weren't able to get much going. What were they doing well defensively on all the other guys, or was it just a lack of being able to knock down shots?
I thought Elle played with a great sense of urgency. She attacked. She came to play. I thought Pinzan on the offensive end, it's good to see Sid hit some shots.
And Leo Haggerty.
Coach, I know this is probably the wrong time to ask this, but there was a hell of a lot more good things that happened to you than bad this year, correct?
Yeah. You know, let me tell you right now, there's going to be only one guy one coach that's going to be very happy at the end of the season, right? And, there's two people that don't end with a loss on our side, the NCAA champion and the WNIT champion. So, yeah, but you take an opportunity to reflect on the year we had and where we need to get better at and what we need to improve on, and we will.
Francisco, do you have another question?
Yeah, Coach, how difficult was it to play against a team that was able to throw 10 bodies in there, and basically everyone that they had in the game was able to get a bucket for them?
Yeah, very difficult. We're also, it hurts. We're missing one of our best perimeter players in Maria, right? So we would probably play Dulce and Maria. So 7.
Any other questions? All right, Coach.
All right.
Thank you.